Hey everyone, so today we are going to take notes about extemp debate. Make sure you write all this information down because we're going to start this debate style in the next class, start prepping for it at least. So I want to make sure you know what it is. What is extemp? It stands for extemporaneous speaking, and it basically means that it's on the fly, spontaneous, short notice speaking. So you'll receive a topic where you're going to try to persuade the audience one side or the other. So an example topic would be high schools should allow time for naps. You might go with the affirmative side saying, yes, high schools should allow time for naps. Or you could draw for the negative side and you will have to argue high schools should not allow time for naps. The extemporaneous style all takes place in one day. So on a day, you will draw your topic and then you'll only get 10 minutes to prepare and read through different articles about it. And while you're doing that, you'll receive one note card where you can organize your points and reasons. But you want to make sure you don't put tons of information on your note card because you're going to want to add to your note card throughout the debate to try to tear down what your opponent says. And we'll talk about this more in the next class too. So the benefits of Extemp, it helps you to develop public speaking skills. You want to make sure you're practicing good eye contact, that you're not, stumbling or stuttering over your words, that you're standing at the podium and looking at the audience. You will be able to learn more about current issues and controversial issues. In the last class, you talked about controversies, right? It needs to be something that is debatable. Extemporaneous also improves your critical thinking and analysis skills because you do have to be very quick. You only get 10 minutes to prepare. So you'll want to make sure you can, take information that you read and quickly convert it into a speech. It enhances your writing skills because you're outlining what you're going to say on a note card. That goes along with your organizational skills. And it just helps you to produce a more informed citizen. And that's what debate does in general, not just extemp. So the preparation. So we will have a day where the whole time we'll just be researching the different topics. And I'll talk to you guys about that in the next class. You'll get 1 to 2 class periods as well as outside time to research both the pro and con sides of each topic. So you will receive a topic list, but it's going to be like 20 topics. And you won't know until the day of the debate which topic you're going to do. So you're going to need to somehow prepare for each of those topics a little bit. And I'll talk about that, like I said, in the next class. When we research and when we're finding articles to support these topics, we got to remember the 3 C's. The articles need to be credible, current, and comprehensive. Credible just means the author who wrote it needs to be someone who's upstanding, who has an authority on the topic. It needs to be current. We don't want anything that was written, 5 or 10 years ago. We want to try to find something that's, within this year or even this week. That would be awesome. And comprehensive, you don't want an article that's just a paragraph long. You want an article that's at least a couple pages that has a lot to say about it. And we're going to be organizing our articles through OneNote. Some of you might have used that tool last year, but we'll talk about that and I'll show you how to do that as well. So the rules for extemporaneous. Each class, 2 students will debate each other on a randomly selected topic. So I'll have these topics kind of in a bucket, or I'll put it in like an online randomizer, and I'll draw a random topic and then I'll draw 2 random students. After the topic's drawn, a coin will be tossed to determine who is going to do the pro side of the topic and who's going to do the con side. Whoever wins the coin toss gets to decide they want pro or con. Both students will have a 10-minute prep time At the same time, so after you find out what side you're debating, you'll get 10 minutes to look through some articles and try to pull out reasons and develop your speeches and sides. You'll be able to use the already collected research. You won't be able to get on the internet and find new research though. So that's why we will spend a day or two like just preparing and researching these 20 topics so that there's at least like an article for each side of the topic. And like I said, you'll get one note card to outline your speech. In extemporaneous, because it's an on-the-fly speech, pre-written speeches are against the rules. So you can't come in with, a whole one-page speech written out for this debate. You have to write it on the fly on a note card. You get 2 minutes to deliver your speeches, at least for the first speech you give and then the rebuttal where you try to tear down what your opponent said. Speakers cannot be interrupted, so there is turn taking. The audience cannot participate. You're just watching and acting as a judge. The affirmative debater always goes first in extemporaneous, and they are trying to prove the resolution right and trying to defend it, whereas the negative debater is trying to oppose the resolution, trying to counter it. And everyone will debate at least one topic. If we have an oddball number of students, someone might have to go twice, but I'll give you some extra credit if you end up having to go twice. So here's the structure, and we'll get more into this as we go along in the next couple classes. So basically, the person who got pro goes first. They speak for 2 minutes. Then the con gets to ask the pro questions for 1 minute. So while the pro is speaking, the con will want to be writing down some potential questions and jotting down notes about that person's speech. After the cross-examination of pro, the negative person gives their 2-minute speech. Then the pro gets to ask the con questions. After that, there is a 1-minute prep time where you can continue to write on that one note card to create your next speech, to try to tear down what your opponent said. Pro will then give a 2-minute rebuttal. Con will then follow up and give a 2-minute rebuttal. Then each gets 1 minute of prep time to again prepare for that final speech. And then each speaker gets 2 more minutes to give their final speech for why their side is correct and should win. So, including the prep time, a total speech will take about 26 minutes. So, hopefully, we could get through, 3 to 4 of these debates a class. So, we'll be going through this. This will take us a couple class periods to finish. This is how you're going to be evaluated and judged. I will be jotting down notes and watching each speaker, as well as the classmates are going to be judging as well. So if you're not speaking, you're going to be acting as a judge, and I'm going to be giving everyone a ballot. But this is what I'm specifically looking for to grade you by. You want to make sure that you state your reasons or claims very clearly so that I know what your reasons are. And a great way to do that is by saying my first reason is blah, 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 blah. My second reason is blah, 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 blah. That way I know what your reasons are. You'll also need for each reason evidence and logic to back up what you're saying. And that's where those articles come into play. So if you can pull information from these articles we found earlier in the classes, that'll be awesome. So you could say, according to John Smith, this is what he said. And that goes along with the warrant. So it's just using that evidence and your own logic to come up with a reason that's more than just one sentence long. Each reason should have a decent amount of time given to it. And you'll want to show why what you're saying is important. So what if high schoolers don't have naps? Why is it important? Why does it matter? And for each reason, you'll want to prove, okay, this is why it matters. I'm also going to be looking for public speaking skills. So do you have good eye contact? Can I hear what you're saying? Are you talking loud enough or are you screaming? You don't want to be screaming or yelling. Do you pronounce things clearly? Make sure that you're um, pronouncing things correctly, but also in a way that we understand what you're saying. Your words aren't slushing together. Do you have a good posture? Or are you like leaning against the podium, shaking it, fidgeting? You want to make sure you're standing still and straight and tall and facing your audience. Do you have gestures? You could use hand signals to show your reasons. So hold up one finger for my first reason, two fingers for my second reason. You could even do kind of those presidential hand motions, right, where they kind of put their hands in front of them and gesture to the crowd. Um, so those are the things that I'm going to be looking for to grade you. And if you do all these things, you're going to do really well. And if you don't do these things, you might not get a grade that you like, but this is just our first debate, so I don't expect anybody to be, you know, Mr. President or anything like that. So this is just kind of our first easy, informal, like on the fly debate. So that is it for notes. Um, Make sure you have all this information written down, and I will see you in the next class and we can start working on our extemporaneous topics. Thanks.